We thank you for watching this video. I'm Chris Ledoux, and we're going to be showing you a video on how to safely spot and load in the Louisiana High School Powerlifting Association. I'm Chris Ledoux, and I've been judging for 26 years now.
Steve Baranich. I've been a member of the executive committee for over 35 years. I've been judging for 35 years.
I'm Kenny Lavatino. I've been judging for 21 years.
I'm Joe Ryan. I've been judging for a year, coaching for 7, and this is my 6th year on the executive committee.
Okay, guys, I want to thank y'all for helping out and spotting and loading today. It's a very important part that you're going to play in this powerlifting meet, and we couldn't do the meet without you. In a powerlifting meet, we want 3 things in this order. Number 1 is safety. We want everybody to be safe, especially the lifter. Y'all job is to keep everybody safe, the lifter safe. We want you guys to be safe as well. Safety for you, and also the judges, we want them safe, and we want all the fans safe. Safety is number 1 in everything that we're going to do. The number 2 thing we want is accuracy. Making sure we're putting the right weights on at the right time, the right way, making sure the bar is parallel, making sure we're thinking about everything we're supposed to be doing, still being safe. And number 3, speed. We're not getting paid by the hour, guys. So the faster we get this done, the faster we get to go home. But we'll never sacrifice accuracy or safety for speed. Everybody got that? All right, good. Okay, looking at the plates, this is the face of the plate or the front of the plate, and of course turn it over. And this will be the back of the plate. So whenever we're loading the bar, the first plate always faces in, and all the other plates face out. So put this one facing in. Very nice. And then we're going to load the second one. Put this one on facing out. Ah, there we go. Of course, we want everything to be safe, and we don't want any of the weights to fall off on anybody. So we're going to put a clamp on every single time. And we're going to clamp it up and close it down. And even if there's no weight on the bar, if somebody's doing just 45 pounds, we still put a clamp on every time. Anytime we're unloading the bar, we always want to take off the weights evenly on each side. Let's say we have 400 pounds on the bar. We got 4 plates on this side and 4 plates on this side. We want to take off 1 plate at a time or 2 at a time. Make sure everything's even because we don't want the weight to tip over one way or the other. So unload the bar evenly at all times. And after we're unloading the bar, if you're the back spotter, what you're going to do, you're going to hang on the bar in the middle right here to make sure it does not tip over one way or the other whenever you're doing it. So if you grab it in the middle, make sure you can grab it to where one side doesn't tip either way whenever you're hanging on the bar, okay? So whenever you are the back spotter, what you're going to do is you're going to get your feet where you're comfortable behind the lifter, and you're not too close to where when he squats, he runs into you, and you're not too far where you can't grab him. So you want to get where you're comfortable and put your hands under here where you're ready for the guy to start squatting. So whenever he squats, go down and squat. And it's very important that whenever he breaks parallel, you need to drop your hands this way so we can see if he's breaking parallel or not. Bar loaded. In this situation, the back judge gets where he's supposed to be. Squat. He gets the squat command, he goes down, and we're looking for parallel, and his hands are in the way right there, and we can't see. That's why we want him to drop his hands. Bar loaded. This time the lifter gets the bar, back spotter's there where he needs to be. Squat. And as he's squatting, he's going to drop his hands when he gets to parallel so we can see the hips. He comes back up, puts his hands right back in. Back. Whenever you're spotting from the side, make sure you have your fingers laced together. You're going to follow the bar out, go up and down, and help the lifter put the bar back into the rack. If something happens, it's the lifter's responsibility to stay with the bar at all times. Once the lifter finishes the lift, we're going to grab the bar and help him put the bar back into the rack. So whenever you're spotting from back, you want to be where you're comfortable, get your hands inside and go down squat. And he's going to break parallel, and we're going to drop our hands in. And when he comes up, if he gets in trouble and he stops, we're going to immediately grab him and bring us into, let him feel us, and make sure he grabs and we can feel him. Whenever he starts moving forward, then we're going to switch and grab his hands and our hands together as we put the bar back on the rack together.
Bar loading.
Once this bar is loaded, the spotter and loaders are going to move in. We're going to get where he's comfortable.
Squat.
Break parallel, drops his hands, comes up. And he can't get it, so we say take the bar, he walks in, and safely we're going to try to do as safe as we can, make sure everybody grabs the lifter and the bar and make sure everything is safe and put it back into the racks as safe as we can. When I have a female lifter, whenever we're spotting a female lifter, we want to be as respectful as we can at all times. Make sure whenever you're spotting from the back, you use closed fists anytime a female lifter would get in trouble. All right, let's go.
Bar loaded.
So again, we have a female lifter here. She's going to get where she's comfortable. Guys will have their hands under the bars. Back spot has his hands where they need to be. When she breaks parallel, he drops his hands, comes up, and she can't do it, so they grab the bar, put it back on the rack. So now in this instance, the lifter will lift the bar. Do not touch the bar unless you absolutely, positively, definitely go down or we say take it.
Squat.
But if he pauses for any reason, don't just grab the bar. Don't touch it because he didn't stop. The bar just stopped,
Right.
but it did not go down. So unless the bar goes down, never touch the bar unless the judges say take it or we say help.
Bar loaded.
Again, if you're spotting and loading, you have to be ready for everything. Make sure you pay attention to the lifter at all times. If they do something crazy, but the bar doesn't go down,
Squat.
don't touch the bar unless we say take it. So now he's got a lot of movement
Rack.
and the bar did not go down. The judges did not say take it or help, so don't touch the bar in this situation.
Bar loaded.
In this situation, again, we're watching the bar, and if the bar goes down, we're going to take it, or if the judges say take it or help.
Squat.
Very low, drops his hands.
Take
The bar, take the weight. Good job, guys. Again, we want to emphasize safety. Anytime the bar goes down like that, we want to attack the bar and make sure the bar is lifted up and put back into the racks. Whenever you're spotting and loading, make sure the bar always hits the back of the rack and down. We can never, ever, ever have this happen where the bar comes up short and falls. It can be very dangerous for anybody. Or even the bar come up here and balance on the rack like this. Very dangerous. Always make sure the bar always hits the back rack and then down every single time. Also, anytime the bar is going back into the rack, anytime the collar sits inside it, make sure you're paying attention to where this could fall down and pinch somebody's hand. So always make sure this is happening, and also communicate with the lifter at all times. Say, watch your hands, watch your hands. If that falls on your hand, that could be very dangerous, and we don't want that to happen. Anytime we put 400 pounds on the bar or more, which means 4 plates or more, we want to try to use 5 spotters for the lifter's safety. So whenever we're doing this, if you're working the jacks, which you two guys will be the jack people, y'all are going to move to the sides. The side people will then move back over here and what we call the 5th spotter. Even though it's 2 of y'all, we'll show you how to be the 5th spotter now. So now when the lifter comes up and we have 400 pounds on the bar or more, we're going to have 5 spotters. So you're going to come around and be the side, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do. What you're going to do here, line up like you're the back spotter. You're going to put your foot even with his. All right, back up a little bit so the judge can see. You're going to put your foot even with his, and you put your hand under the bar like this. The reason why, again, we want the side judge to be able to see the hips whenever we're doing it. If I have my leg like this, when I go down, my knee is going to come this way, and then he won't be able to see because of my leg. So we want to be able to open up this way to where the side judge can see. And also on this side as well, whenever we come here, we want to be able to open up this way to where the side judge can see as well. So whenever he squats, so let's come back in. Put your hand, put your foot here, put your foot there, put your hand under the bar, your inside hand under the bar, inside. All right, now go ahead and squat. And now we can see, all right, come up, very nice. And then when he says rack,
Rack.
put it back in the rack, and we all want to put the ball back in the rack, watching our hands, very safe. So in this situation, we would have at least 400 pounds on the bar, and now this spotter on this side has his knee forward, and we can't see.
Squat.
So when he says squat, the judge on this side has a hard time seeing
Rack.
the lifter, okay? So now again, this situation, if the bar was loaded with 400 pounds or more, we're gonna put this foot back, line up with this guy's foot, good. All right, now put your hand on the bar.
Squat.
And we're gonna go down, and now the judge has a good view of what's happening. I know sometimes whenever guys are spotting on the sides, they want to put their hands around the bar like this. Well, that puts your arm in the way for the judge to see. Also, it's very dangerous. If you got too many plates on here and you come up here and grab it, the weights could come together and pinch your skin, and which could rip your skin apart if you got too much weight on the bar. So we don't want to put our arms under the bar, under the plates like this to try to spot it. We always want to spot from the inside. Always watch your hand when it's coming in and make sure your hand is safe and the lifter's hand as well.
Bar loaded. Need 5 guys out. 5 spotters.
So now we have 5 spotters, so everybody's just going to rotate one side around. Make sure they open up their legs, hands under the bar. Squat for the squat. Everybody's dropping their hands so we can see as best we can.
Rack.
So we're going to put it on the rack, and then everybody goes back to their regular position. So the jack guy goes back where he was, and the side spotters go back where they were. Anytime we're using the jack racks, make sure the pins always go on the inside. We never want the pins on the outside because they could hook on the plates and it could cause somebody to get injured. Always put the pins on the inside to where if they do accidentally hook on the plate, the pins will just pop in and it won't hook the plates whenever they're coming in. Also, whenever you're using a pin, always have at least 1 space in between. Because when you're trying to grab the pins, if there's not a space in between, it won't work. So grab the lever and grab the top pin, and you see how easy that is. All right, put it down. Now, if there's no space in between, if we put the pins like this fashion, try to pick up the top pin, it ain't gonna work. So you always have to have at least one space in between the pins when you're using them. Whenever you're jacking up the weights or lowering the weights, 90% of the time you're gonna grab the top pin. 90% of the time you're gonna grab the top pin. So in this situation, we grab the top pin, grab the weight. And what happens is, if we remember physical science, what happens if you put your hands too close, put your hands both right here and try to lift it up, it gets to be very hard. You see them straining? So the fulcrum and getting away from the fulcrum, so grab it again. Put your hands as far away from the fulcrum as you can. Put both hands far away. And look how easy it comes up. You can just do this all day long because it's a lot easier the further you are away from the pivot point. Anytime we're lowering the rack height to a very low pin setting like 5 or below, we want to remove this top pin. So let's lower the rack height to 5 right now. We're going to put the top pin in 5, or just lift the bottom, that's fine. Put it in 5, lower it down to 5. Good job, guys. And then we're going to take the top pin out and put it in these little holes right here because they have a tendency to fall out whenever you get to the lower rack heights like that. Anytime you're spotting and loading and you're working the jacks, make sure your body is on the inside to where it makes it easier for you to reach around and put the pin in. Because if you're on the outside, you have to reach around and it becomes very awkward. So make sure your body's on the inside to where you can see the markings on the pins and the holes where they belong. Anytime you're working the jacks and we're having to add more weight to the bar, always keep the bar on the lowest setting whenever your friend is grabbing the 45 pound, because it's a lot easier to pick up a 45 pound this way as opposed to picking it up to 17 this way. And the same thing goes whenever you're unloading the bar. If you have 7 plates on top and you're going down the rack height 10, lower it down the rack height 10, then have everybody pick off the weights on the side. It's a lot easier as opposed to lifting weights up here or taking them off up here. It's a lot easier when they're right in front of you.
Bar loading.
Okay, make sure you watch the lifter and make sure you watch yourself if you're spotting and loading on the side, because the lifter can come out with the weight swinging back and forth. And you see how this is coming real close to his face. Make sure you're paying attention to the bar at all times to where you're not getting hurt.
Squat. Rack. Bar loading.
So if anytime the lifter gets in trouble, we always want to lift the weight up. We don't want to go straight into the rack with it because the lifter could be off balance. We want to keep everybody safe.
Squat.
If he starts leaning forward into the rack, then it's... So now we're going to grab the bar straight up and then into the rack. Never want to grab the bar and straight push it into the rack this way because the lifter could be off balance. We want the lifter to hold most of the weight he's supposed to if he can. If not, if we do get in trouble for any reason, the judges are going to be yelling, giving you direction on what to do. Sometimes you may have to put it on the lower racks here. Sometimes most of the time, 95% of the time, we're going to try to put it back up here if we can. But if we can't safely do it, we're going to try to do whatever's the safest situation for the lifter and all the spotters. After the squat, it is your responsibility as a spotter and loader to start setting up for the bench press. So after the squat's over, we'll start setting up the bench press and getting ready to start bench press. Whenever we got the bench press set up, we're always going to take the rack and lower it down to 6. So let's put the rack down to 6, guys. Put the top pin on 6. We're going to lower it down to 6. And the bar is always going to be on the rack forward. So we'd always have the bar on the lower rack and from here, and this way, here.
Bar loaded.
So whenever you're spotting and loading on the bench press, make sure you take the bar off nice and easy for the lifter. Don't just throw it into his hands like this and he's not able to control it. You want to take it off nice and slow for the lifter. The side spotters do not help the bar off unless it's requested by the lifter or the coach. Most of the time, the back spotter is going to be the one lifting the bar off and handing it to the bench presser. All right, whenever you're spotting and loading on the bench press, make sure you stay with the bar. We're going to lift it up nice and easy for the lifter. Make sure you open up so the judge can see, but don't leave. Put your hands next to the bar.
Start.
To whenever he is bench pressing. If something goes wrong, you're right there to help out.
Press.
And
Rack.
don't touch the bar until the lift is completely over. Whenever the judge says rack, you're going to watch the bar. If the kid wants to put the bar into the rack before, don't touch it. That's not your responsibility. Once the lifter does the lift, if they put it in the rack on their own, that's their own responsibility. If something happens, once they start moving and the judge says rack, then we're going to help them put it back into the rack.
Bar loaded.
A lot of people have these newer bench shirts as well. They have different grooves where they want to bring the bar down. Always watch, because sometimes the groove gets too high on their chest and the bar could go down and almost go toward their neck, and we don't ever want that to happen. So make sure you're paying attention. So when the bar's coming up and then the bar's going toward the lifter, we want to attack the bar and make sure it gets back on the rack. And most of the time you'll be able to see where that groove is at. If the line is here, it's going to be fine. If they come down here in the bench press and the line's up here, or they're having a lot of trouble bringing the bar down to their chest and touching, that's when you're going to see a lot of problems.
Bar loaded.
If anytime the coach wants to lift off for them, they can, in the Louisiana High
Coach,
School
remember your
Powerlifting
spotter.
Association. But don't leave, and we don't want the coach to leave either. Once the coach becomes the lift-off person, he becomes a spotter now as well. So we want the coach to do the exact same thing
Start.
that the spotter and loader did.
Press.
They're watching his lifter.
Right.
And of course, if you're the coach and you want to do, if you want to lift off, you are able to do it. But if you come in contact with the bar, it will be a no lift in any way at all. So make sure you're there close to spot your lifter. And if you are a coach lifting off for your lifter, don't just lift the bar off and then walk away. You become the spotter, so you need to stay there for your lifter's safety. Anytime a lifter requests boxes, it is our responsibility as a spotter and loader to provide the boxes for them. So they'll say, if she wants boxes, she'll say, give me the boxes.
Boxes, please.
And you're going to put the boxes down for her. And then she'll start bench pressing, just like always. And also, another thing, if the lifter's foot is not completely on the box, that is the lifter's responsibility to put their foot on the box. We're just going to put the boxes in and then slide them out whenever they're done.
Start. Press. Right.
And so she did the lift. The next lifter does not want boxes, so when she gets up, it's our responsibility to move the boxes away and get ready for the next lifter. After the bench press, it is your responsibility as a spotter and loader to clear the platform and get ready for the deadlift. Now that we're set up for the deadlift, you're as a spotter and loader, your responsibility to load the bar. So we're going to load the bar to 135, so let's put the 45s on. Again, we're going to put the first plate facing in, all the other ones facing out. So once the bar is loaded, we can put the clamps on, make sure the weights are all the way tight, because that's a big thing, people want to make sure the weights are tight. And you use the rack or the deadlift bar, you're going to push forward till it goes forward, and then you want to control the weight till it doesn't continue to roll. And then once we're done, we're just going to take out the lift like this. Anytime we have the plates on, we want them to be as tight as we can get them. But other times they may come loose a little bit. If the coach says, hey, tighten the weights up, that is not our responsibility to tighten the weights up as a spotter and loader. It is up to the judges to tell you to tighten the weights up. If the judge says, no, we're rolling, don't touch them, just because the coach said. It's up to the judges whether we're going to tighten the weights or if we're going to clean the bar.
Bar loaded.
Okay, when the lifter comes up to lift, you can see he has a lot of chalk on his hands, and eventually the chalk is going to build up on the bar. What we're going to do as a spotter and loader, whenever the judge tells you, we're going to clean the bar off. So once the lift goes, it does the lift,
Down.
then, as you can see, a lot of chalk remains on the bar. We don't have to clean it every single time, only whenever the judge tells us to clean the bar off. And whenever we do it, we're going to come in with the brush, and we're going to spin the bar as we're using the brush to clean the bar off. If there's no brush, don't worry, we can use a towel, anything to get the bar clean. And we're going to wipe the bottom. Also, whenever we're wiping the bottom, we don't want to do this and start popping it and doing this, hitting the thing like this and making a bunch of smoke. It's not doing anybody good. Take the rag and wipe it off one way and then the other side without creating a bunch of cloud of dust.
Bar loaded.
Whenever the lifter is lifting, there's no spotting on the side. The only spotter will be the back spotter. He will have his hand up in the middle of his back once he stands up to where he doesn't fall backwards if something happens.
Down.
Of course, if he falls back, we don't want the weight to fall on him. We don't want him to fall anyway, but if he does fall forward, most of the time the weight will go underneath and he'll fall forward. But if anytime we can control him from falling backwards, that's what we want to be there for his safety. We thank you for watching this video for Louisiana High School Powerlifting Meet. We hope you have a safe, successful meet and hope it was informative to you. And if you need to watch this film again anytime, go back and rewatch it to make sure you're on cue to what you have to do as a spotter and loader.